Here we go.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you are all well. You amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. Guess what? That's it. It's Wednesday, and you know what Wednesday means? It's the midweek hump. And we all love a midweek hump. Anyway, look, we are sticking with the Liam Payne case briefly today because, look, obviously the death of Liam Payne has set a lot of wheels in motion in terms of what people think about this crime. But what I am watching, right, I'm watching a situation unfold which seems to be massively downplaying it. Now, we've had Lulu come out now, and she's turned around and said, this could have been me. And we've got other people who are turning around and saying, oh, we must hold the music industry to a higher regard. And I think to myself, do you know what? Liam Payne's not a new person who's done this, and I don't think Liam Payne's going to be the death that changes the entire industry. And people who think this is just an attempt to stop people from, and this is in my opinion, asking questions, looking into things. This is to try and make people feel better, to make it feel like Liam Payne's death is going to change things. This is going to spark an overhaul, so people kind of lay a bit easier about it. Do you know what I mean? They feel a certain way. But what I have noticed here is that it would appear that Liam Payne, in terms of what his value is to the machine, it seems like that was a lot more in the aftermath of his death. So when you have people who are being accused of being, I don't know, conspiracy theorists, when people consider that there was more to this than what meets the eye, well, and they say, well, why is that then? Why would somebody do this? And it's like, well, you either believe in a world that has no corruption, no anything, and it's just anybody who talks about corruption is fucking mental, or you look inward and you think to yourself, do you know what? Do we actually live in a world where corruption is actually rife? It's everywhere. It's all around us. Every single thing that we go through every single day, there is some form of corruption or control or manipulation of the masses. But let's look at the Liam Payne case from what it is, right? So this lad goes to fucking Argentina with his missus, right? So he goes to Argentina, she leaves, she goes, because apparently, and what it's worded is, she started to feel claustrophobic. They'd been there a couple of weeks, she needed to get away, she needed to leave him, right? I'm thinking to myself, well, people go on fucking holiday all the time, do you know what I mean? They're always going on holiday, and you generally go on holiday for 2 weeks. And if you're really, really lucky, then you'll be someone who can perhaps go on multiple holidays or go on holidays for more than 2 weeks, because you don't have things in your life that stop you from going on holiday. So to say that a young girl who is with someone who is rich, who is wealthy, and they are in a different part of the world, I struggle even with that piece of information, that she needed to leave Liam there on his own and leave because she'd had enough. She was starting to feel like she was trapped. Fuck off. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, don't get me wrong, she could be an exception to the rule, but generally people fucking love being on holiday. So to turn around and say she needed to get out of Dodge and leave him there, and then within what? Not long after she leaves, he descends into this chaos, this complete and utter chaos, that even that in itself doesn't make sense. We have all of this kicking off in a hotel, which a hotel is generally, full of guests, but yet not one person had any proof that any of what we're being told happened. No, nothing. And look, I'll step back a moment and get in my lane and say, look, yeah, this evidence may exist, but we might not have access to it. We may not have access to it, but I can bet you bollocks to a barn dancer there would be someone, if they had footage, that they would potentially be looking to sell that footage, and that footage would be leaked to some news channel, news outlet, because there is money to be made in exclusive stories. And if someone had that, especially around this place, do you know what I mean? It's look, I'm just saying it as it is. The entire story that we're being told doesn't make sense. And all of a sudden, we now see that Liam Payne seems to be more of a commodity to the industry now he's dead than he was when he was alive. And look, we're not talking about what his own personal wealth was, because his own personal wealth don't make no fucking difference to the industry itself. The industry is interested in what they can make off of individuals, and what happens when these individuals become a liability rather than being a commodity. And that's when you then have to ask that question that I asked at the beginning, and that is, do you believe that we live in a world where corruption doesn't exist, or do you believe that we live in a world where corruption absolutely does exist? You know, I know that there'll be people out there, as an example, Princess Diana. Princess Diana's death, was it a tragic accident, or was it something more sinister? Had Princess Diana perhaps became more of a liability than a commodity? There will be people out there who have that mentality. Me, I don't know. And I daren't say my stance on that. I'll end up in the Tower of London. But Liam Payne, the entire story, what we're being told of his death, doesn't make sense. Now, is it possible? Is it possible that this is just another music showbiz industry tragedy? But have you noticed that all of these high-level industry tragedies, they come with a story around them that makes you question things. They're never straightforward. They're never clear-cut. There's always something in the background. And then you think to yourself, so is it because of who they are? And we can think that, it can't possibly be the way it happened. Like Tupac Shakur, for instance. Was Tupac Shakur killed by cops? Was he killed by this person? Do you know what I mean? And this has been going on for decades. Don't get me wrong, it seems to be coming to some kind of conclusion now. But Kurt Cobain, another one, was his death all straightforward? You know, the Friends star, Matthew Perry, recently, we had that situation that seems to be... None of these deaths seem to be straightforward, and Liam Payne's just adds to another list of deaths that, yes, they're a tragedy, they're tragic, but why is there no evidence, no proof of anything that we're being told? Why does it come down to us having to trust what we're being told when we're not ever shown any evidence of what we're being told? Liam Payne was troubled, we know that, but it seems now that him being troubled is now being used to leverage our thoughts and feelings about what happened. It's very, very easy to blame someone who was publicly, you know, allowing us into his life to say, look, these are the struggles that I've gone through. But he'd also made promises to his fans that something like this would never happen. But then we turn around and we're told that this wasn't actually him doing something intentionally. And I believe that this is, again, comes off the back end of many people who then dig into the probability of him doing it himself, and there seems to be a lot of resistance against that because he has spoken about it, and he's spoken about the way that he's got round it and got over it and promising not to do it. So then we go off on a different angle. So now we're going down the angle of he didn't do it himself, it was a tragic accident, he could have just fainted beside his bed, and that would have been different. So now we're supposed to believe that all this was happening in the foyer of the hotel, kicking off, back to room, come back down, back to room, come back down, kicking off, smashing up laptops, smashing up rooms, out on the balcony, and then faints and falls over a 4-foot-high railing to his death below. That's what we're going. And it's this, like this report here, this is how bad it's got, right? So this is now Liam Payne, moment of misfortune. Moment of misfortune. Before he felt death from balcony, Liam Payne was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So that's how that's it now. That's it. That's how important this is. That's what happened, guys. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. If he'd have been in his bedroom and he'd fainted, he'd have been all right. But he wasn't. He was on a balcony, fainted, fell over a 4-foot high railing. Get the fuck out of it. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you all later today.